Good morning, friends. Today's topic is we are going to learn certain ways of how you solve those patterns using loops. So today I'm going to explain you the loops program. Okay, so we will start with the basic number pattern. Okay, fine. Now, in the loops or in the patterns, you have to keep two things in mind, that how many number of rows you have to print and how many number of columns you have to print. So in this we are using the nested for loops. So one loop will handle the number of rows and the other loop will handle the number of columns. Okay, so we will see this program is what? Number pattern. So I will first execute this program and show you how the pattern will look like. Okay, now this is a simple number pattern where 1 and then 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5 that has been printed. So here I am having my public static void main where I have initialized the value of n as 5 and I am calling print nums. Now print nums is a static method which I have called directly with the in the static block, and the parameter which I am passing to it is 5. Okay, so here it is, the value of n over here will be 5. Now I have taken some temporary variables which will iterate through for the rows as well as the columns. Okay, so now here i's value, now the outer loop over here is going to handle the number of rows. So here how many rows we are having? We are having 5 rows. So I'll have I equal to 1 starting with 1 and I less than equal to 5. So this will take care of the all the 5 rows which we want to print. Okay, now the inner loop, I'll just delete all these things. Yeah, the inner loop basically is meant to print the value, the actual value. Now if you see here, I want to print 1. Okay, so when I get into this loop, I have started the j is 1. So j, this inner loop is basically for the columns. Okay, and j less than or equal to I is what over here? 1. Fine. So I am printing the value of I. So it will print the first one and a space after that. So you can see in two numbers there is a space over here. So these spaces are printed over here in this way. If you don't want it, so it will be all attached to each other, very much near to each other. Okay. So this is the value of I gets printed. But then when j will be 2, okay, so 2 is not less than 1 and I come outside this loop. Now here you can see I have used system.out.print. Now print is again a method of the class system which prints without a new line. Means every line, if you say print ln is nothing but a new line over here. So I want to print everything in one line over here, so I have used print. Fine. So it will print what? 1. Then again the I will get incremented. So i's new value will be 2. So I is 1, j less than or equal to 2. So the first value of I is what? I is 2 over here. So it will print 2. So it will print 2 twice. So in this way the loop will get executed till your i's value is 6, and then you'll come outside this loop. So in this way this particular number pattern works. So you have to keep in mind, depending on the pattern which you have to print and what values you have to print, that thing will determine this particular line over here. Okay, now if I print instead of I over here, instead of I print j. Okay, so now the pattern will change. Sorry. So now you can see it is printing 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. So this is nothing but the j. The first time when you enter the loop, that time j is 1. Next time it is like I is 2, j is again 1. So it will be 1 2. accordingly 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. So in this way you will be able to print the number patterns. Now moving ahead, we will see the next type of, now that is nothing but the star patterns. Now let's see what is this pattern and how it is printing the values. Just see Java. Okay. Now for your understanding, I have printed a dot over here. I'll just remove this dot and I'll print a space over there. Okay, now here you can see in this program it is there is one more extra thing which you have to keep in mind is nothing but printing the space. So here there we in the previous program we didn't have to print space, it is everything printing from left to right, but here you can see there I have to print the spaces and then the value. So I have to take an extra loop to keep in print the spaces. So the spaces will be taken care with an extra loop. Now the first thing which you can see is there are certain spaces printed and then the value is, or whatever, the star is being printed over here. Okay, so here again it's the same program. It is a right triangle is nothing but the method which has been called, and n's value is initialized to 5. Now as again n is I is less than n, because the outer loop will take care of the number of rows. Now the inner loop I have to take care of the number of spaces. Fine. Now the spaces will keep on decreasing as you go to the next row. Okay, so here there is a simple formula which has been applied, that is 2 into n minus 1. What is the value of n over here when you come inside 5, and what is the value of I? It is 0. So 2 into 5. So that is nothing but the new value of j will be what? 10. Okay, 10 is greater than 0 and then it will print what? The space. So till it is going to print the j's value will get incremented by 1. Okay, so here I'll just print the value of j so that you understand. Sorry, here it is 5 minus 0. Yeah, just a minute. Here I am printing the value of j. Okay, now you can see when the j's value is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So those many spaces are getting printed over here and then the value. The next time when you come, then the j's value will be what? I's value will be 1. So n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 is what? 4. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. So it is printing the value of j is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it goes to print the stars. Okay, so in this way the j is iterating. So here I am just printing a space, because we have to take into consideration how many number of spaces we want. Depending on that, the formula has been written up. So here you can see there are the spaces are getting printed and then the star is getting printed. Now how is the star getting? I have to print only one star. So this is our initial logic which we had used, that is j is equal to 0, j is less than or equal to I. So when the first time when you enter inside this loop, the I's value will be 0. So 0 is equal to 0 and then it prints the star. So it is printing one star over here, and similarly this will keep on going and it will print the rest of stars. That is number of columns is nothing but this loop. So in this program we have added only one loop extra to print these spaces, and this is a formula which I have used to print the spaces. Now the same program can be done in a different way also, or maybe we can use a different logic for printing the same programs. So it's not mandatory that you have to use the same logic. We can have another logic also for this particular program. Now let's see the next one. Okay, this is the same one. Good. I have opened the same program. I will open another one. Okay, this is a program which will again print stars without a space. That's the program name, test star. Yeah. Now this was a right triangle. This is the left triangle. So there is no space over here. Okay. So this is again the same logic where I is less than 5 and j is less than I, and it is just printing the stars. So here this is a simple one which is printing just the stars like what we had seen in our earlier programs. 1 1 2 1 2 3. Instead of that, if you print star, so the output of this program as well as this program will be the same. So the logic used over there is the same. Now we will see how to print the alphabets. Okay. Now for alphabets, you know that every alphabet is having an ASCII value. Okay, that is if it is capital A to Z, then ASCII value is 65 to 90. If it is small a to Z, then the ASCII value is 97 to 122. So over here we are going to initialize from where you want to print the characters. So here it's an alphabet is a variable and in which I have initialized the value as 65. That thing means I am assuming I have to print from capital A. Now this is again the same logic. This is going to print the rows, this outer loop. The inner loop is going to print the number of columns, and here I have taken like what you can say, I have typecasted the alphabet. Okay, alphabet over here, character is nothing but this is a method which will return the alphabet value or the character value of the integer which we are passing. Okay, now j's value is what? 0. So first time when you will come, this alphabet is 65 plus 0. So 65 is the output over here. So it will return the character representation of 65, which is capital A, and it prints a space with it. So it will print A and a space the first time when you enter the loop. Now the next time when you enter the loop, that time again alphabet will be 65 again, and j's value will be from 0 to 1. So this will be 65 plus 1, that is again, sorry, first it will be 65 plus 0, that is 65, then j's value will get incremented on 1, then 65 plus 1, that is 66, then it will print the character representation of 66. So we'll just see how it looks. Okay, so it is printing. First time it will print just 65 when j is 0, then when j is 0, 65, when j is 1, that is 66, that is B, then j is 0, 65, j is 1, 66, and j is 2, 67. So like this will go till the end of the loop, till the 5 rows. You make it more, like I say 6, then it will print one more character. One more. Okay, it is printing till G. Okay, so I hope you understood how this patterns programs are working. You have to only keep in mind that depending on what type of pattern you want, you have to apply the logic. You all the time you have to use two nested loops. One is which will take care of the rows, and another take care of the columns, and then you have to use a logic where what actually you have to print. So if you want to print a space and all, then you have to have another loop which will take care of the spaces. So in that program you will be having three for loops. One loop is to print the spaces also. Now the next topic is type conversion. Now what do you mean by type? Now we know that there we have got these integer, character, float, double, uh, byte. These are the different types of data types we have. So when you assign value for one data type to another, the two types might not be compatible with each other. If the data types are compatible, then Java will perform the conversion automatically, known as automatic type conversion. And if not, then they need to be casted or converted explicitly. Now, what do you mean by this? Like, for example, I am having a variable called as, which is float f, and I'm having an integer, say d. Okay, I'm having d equal to 10, and I say f equal to d. Means what? D is an integer type which the value in it is 10, but I am assigning that value 10 to a variable which is of type float. Okay, so this is nothing but this is I am assigning a value of another data type to a variable which is of some other data type. Okay, so it is that is what it is trying to say over here. Then Java, what will happen in this case? Java will perform the conversion automatically, which is known as automatic type conversion. If not, they need to be casted explicitly. Now how does this automatic type conversion happen? Okay, so this particular methodology is also called as widening or automatic type conversion. Widening conversion takes place when two data types are automatically converted. Now when will this happen? When the two data types are compatible. Compatible means both are of the same type, actually means both are of type numbers. Let it be a float or a double, but they are of type numbers only. So they are compatible. When we assign value of a smaller data type to a bigger data type, means integer, it's a smaller data type, it takes less memory than the float. Okay, integer takes 4 bytes, float takes 8 bytes. So the integer over here is a value which is of smaller data type. Now for example, in Java, the numeric data types are compatible with each other, but no automatic conversion is supported from numeric type to character or boolean. Means what? I cannot assign a character to a boolean or to an integer. Both of them should be of the same data types. That is what it is trying to say over here. Also, character and boolean are not compatible with each other. So we'll just see an example. Now here I is of type integer, L is of type long, and F is of type float. I's value is 100. Now here I is value of I am assigning to L. So this is of a smaller data type, L is of type a longer data type. Means what? The memory is more larger than I. So it will, this is nothing but an example of automatic type conversions. Okay, similarly L is longer over here, it means it is smaller than F, so I am assigning the value of L to F. Okay, so if you just see this, the output will be always 100. Okay, but the change will be what? the memory it will assign. Okay, how much memory, that is only the difference that always happens in the background. Your output over here, I you can see 100, long is again and 100, and float it is 100.0. Output is same, but the inner convergence of the memory, that is going to affect over here. So here you can see winding or automatic convergence, byte short, short to int to long, long to float, and float to double. So in this way you can do the convergence. Now explicit convergence means what? We are doing opposite of what is there in the automatic. That is, if you want to assign a value of a larger data type to a smaller data type, we perform explicit typecasting or narrowing. Okay, that thing is called as narrowing. This is useful for incompatible data types where automatic convergence cannot be done. Okay, that is, initially we saw that we can convert an int to float, but float to int, that is, float is a bigger number than int, so that is not possible. So for that we need to do what? Typecasting. Okay, or we call it as explicit conversion. But over here again you have to keep in mind, character and numbers are not compatible with each other. So if for that, if you want to see, we'll see this example. Your character ch is a variable which is having value c, and number is a variable which is having value 88. So I'm trying to assign number to ch. So I'm trying to trying to change the data type of this num variable to ch, but this is not going to happen. I'll get an error if I try to execute this program. Okay, I have to compile it. Okay, so here you can see incompatible types, possible loosey conversion from int to character. So you are not allowed to do this type of convergence over here. Now we'll see an example of explicit conversion. Now in explicit conversion, now this is a double having a value. Now double is a bigger type. Okay, now I want to convert it into a long, which is a smaller one. So I use, in bracket I will use long and then d. So this is nothing but typecasting. I am changing the data type of d from double to long, means I am assigning it to a variable which is of type long. Similarly, here L is of type long, so I am converting it into an integer and assigning it to a variable which is of type int. Okay, so this is nothing but an example of typecasting, or explicit one we can say. Okay. So this is how it is. Okay, that is byte to short, short to int to long, long to float, and float to double. So we have to put it in bracket to which data type we want to convert it to, and then assign it to that particular variable which is of the same data type. So this is these were a few examples of the patterns which I had to discuss today with you all. Now I will give you some assignments which will be based on patterns. So the way you had solved it earlier, you have to solve it and send it to me so that I can check it. Thank you.